Of all places, I was in Athens, Greece, and I was out there filming for another movie I did called Lily Topples the World, about this young domino toppler. And I was out there, and the building where we were in Athens was covered in this incredible tape art. And I instantly was like, I have to meet the person that did this. And it turned out they said he was an American. And then I met Michael, and I spent many hours with him in Greece. And somewhere late in our friendship, our beginning friendship, he told me about this story, and I actually thought he was full of shit. I did not believe this at all. I think at one point, it was 3 a.m, and he pulls out an iPad that connected, some cracked screen iPad, and he connected it to the cloud, and he showed me footage. And it just, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was all a fake. I thought it was I was being trolled and pranked, and it wasn't true. And then I kind of was on their case for months after to try to convince them. Michael, why? I guess a lot of people ask me always, why now after all these years?
I'll share with you that in the 17-year gap between when this project imploded and now, upwards of 30 different directors had approached us to say, hey, can we make a film about this? The majority of them, though, were very, very interested in sort of the prankish nature of it. They're more interested in sort of the
juvenile.
So juvenile. Right. And in the background, and what Jeremy weaves together, there's a whole bunch of other art life happening. And Jeremy was interested in that also. He was interested in the why. What was the sort of beginning dominoes that would make us even make a move towards making an apartment? And that's why he got the green light. He specializes in these types of movies.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely care about the print quality too. So, yeah, I mean, all this time I thought it was just because I let him act in the movie that he let me.
Right. Jeremy, before the screening, you were talking to me a little bit about how you almost thought of the prank quality is like a Trojan horse you can use to bring people into bigger issues.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I really respond to as a filmmaker. I think I'm always sort of looking for that. And, obviously, when you heard the story, it just it blows you away. But what I was so interested in, and what kind of really took it to the next level for me, was that they were doing all this stuff, while they were in the apartment. The apartment was sort of some stance against gentrification. While they were in there, they were it was their headquarters for their charity art. I mean, it was just so bonkers that I really responded to that aspect of it. Yeah.
Adriana, maybe talk to us a little bit about what it was like for you to suddenly be revisiting this sort of moment.
This is actually the first time I've seen the movie, and I think it's really good, actually.
Adriana did not want to watch it until we finally convinced her now to come.
Yeah, so I like the movie. It's a little boring for me because it's about my life. Sorry, don't take it personal at all. But it's fun to see just the innocence and the openness to exploration, and when your life is an experiment, because it is at some point in all of our lives, and then we often lose it.
So many people ask me about the footage, and what did you think just watching that scene in the food court, and Michael's filming it, and your relationship is imploding before our eyes.
It's really awkward, and I can't believe you were filming. At one point Mike is just going to the bathroom and filming. So it was just such a natural extension of our life. You were just into documenting everything.
Well, the two of us actually had spent time sort of practicing this sort of selfie unawareness, taking photographs of ourselves, even doing fake arguments in Greece. Remember those beautiful series at the Parthenon? So you have to remember that this is the mid-2000s, so the idea of filming yourself or taking selfies is relatively...
Michael actually invented the selfie.
Relatively novel. I had just been practicing for years sort of how to frame myself at arm's length, myself and anybody else. And if you saw that activity now, you'd be like, those influencers, what are they doing? But practice makes perfect.
Yeah, it was amazing because Michael, when we decided to go forward with the movie, he came to me with what was, I think it was 24 hours of footage that they had filmed over the course of, it wasn't even the 4 years, as you saw in the film, they stopped filming about, kind of partial midway, a little further, but so 24 hours, that sounds like an enormous amount, but you guys have seen documentaries all week that have shot hundreds of hours. So in some ways it wasn't a lot at all. And sometimes Michael and everybody else would just leave the camera like running and they'd be playing video games for an hour. So as much as the footage was, the footage was like stunning. That's first of all, it was incredible. You saw like, not only did they capture them going in and bringing stuff in, but the incidents with security, with the cinder blocks. They're also captured like this incredible stuff where they grabbed like a lot of incredible dialogue with these like terribly crappy cameras, and it was just amazing. Were you thinking of it as a film ever?
No, the act of documenting was mostly just an act of discipline. It was just a moment where like, we're about to do a lot of really incredible things. We should, for just the sake of the future, document it, but with no sense that it would ever be edited or seen by anybody. So it's very weird to watch that footage with an audience, all of it, because it was very private. It was not a forward-facing project.
Yeah, I guess I got the same sense from like all the stuff that you were doing in the hospital and the 9/11 stuff. It was just like you guys were recording to record, and which was very interesting.
Well, I'd love to open it up to our friends in the audience. We've got a question right down here.
I know this might be unknowable, but over those 4 years, if you could take a guess as to what percentage of the time was there anyone in the apartment?
So the question was, over those 4 years, at what percentage of the time was there someone in the apartment?
I'm really bad at math, so.
All right. So the first year or so, to be frank with you, was mostly a cleanup operation. That space had been completely abandoned, and the amount of time it took to make it ready for domestic living took much longer than we expected. We were sort of reverse Shawshank Redemption. We were taking out all of the debris. We were like backpacks worth of debris and bringing them out of the mall to get rid of it. Once we had the space established, we were in there, several times a month. That gives you a sense of it.
A lot of nights and weekends.
Yep, a lot of nights and weekends. With the goal being, in the movie it mentions that the wood floors are up there. They were up there. Within 2 days, had it not been arrested, they would have been put in. Within a couple of months.
It was true that our actual home did not have a floor.
That's true, yeah.
It was worse than the home.
Give and take. Within 3 months, the goal, Colin and I were sort of planning our lives so that we could move in full time for a year and never leave the space. To get jobs at the mall, do our financing at the mall, eat at the mall. Luckily, we were caught.
Yeah, and I've heard a rumor, don't quote me, but that some of the flooring is actually still in the space.
That's the rumor, yes.
That's the rumor.
Yes, go ahead.
I had a question for Michael about Pottery Barn. What made you trust that Pottery Barn guy?
Okay, so the question was, what made Michael trust the guy who worked at Pottery Barn?
I think I'm going to jump in for Michael, which is Michael starts like losing his, he starts kind of losing his skill, and he starts, I don't know, you answer it, but I thought you were kind of starting to lose your edge.
I think at that part in the documentation that the apartment had been fully made, and I realized that Glenn was sort of the perfect person to share the narrative with, because he was, in my mind, a dead end. He would never be found ever again. Jeremy found him.
It's more that he had a foot in both worlds.
Yes.
He taught at RISD, he was an artist, and he worked at Pottery Barn.
Yeah.
So it was the bridge.
It was a perfect,
It was a
again, I
portal.
think Michael
set a stone.
set his guard down at that moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Michael, how many times does security interfere with you? I know we've seen the one altercation on screen.
Yeah, so the question is, how many times does security interfere with us? You saw it on film. We were very, very patient creatures. We did everything during the day, mostly. Ironically, the one time we got caught was at night. We moved everything in broad daylight. And we are just very patient. If it wasn't going to work, we just walk. I will share with you that 5 years after I was caught, I was on the sidewalk of the mall. I can't go through, I have to walk around it now because I'm banned. Ran into 3 security guards and asked them, this is 5 years after, do you know what this is? And they're like, oh yeah, you're the guy that lived in the mall. So I was part of their training for many years after.
Yeah, up in the balcony.
I think this film represents that truth is stranger than fiction statement. I'm just wondering if there's been any talk about making a fictionalized version of this story as well.
The question is, has there been any talk of making a fictionalized version of this story?
Yeah, there has. You probably saw in the end credits, we have one of our great producers, our executive producers, is the actor Jesse Eisenberg. And he actually has been involved in a couple of my films. And he's been very supportive of these unique documentaries. But I think there's been a lot of talk about, could this be a scripted movie? Could it be a series? And we're just excited to have made it as a documentary, and I guess we'll see. Michael, how would you feel about?
Right after we had caught, there was about a 3-month period where we were bombarded with calls from Hollywood. This is about 6 months before a writer's strike in 2008, and there was a deep interest in reality TV shows and movies and books, and we made a decision at the time to turn it all down. It was Adriana and I were what we wanted people to see. They just a young couple trying to pursue the American dream the best way they knew how. And so we went on the press circuit together, and I would just always wear a white button-down shirt. You always looked great, and we would sort of just talk about our interrupted dream.
I remember hearing that there was a Hollywood company that was looking at it as like a rom-com with you with married amid the secret apartment.
It seems like in a lot of your work, there's this running theme of things being very temporary. In the tape, in the bodies, in the mall apartment itself, understanding that it could just end at any moment. So why do you think that is in a lot of your work?
So the question is about a theme of a lot of Michael's work being temporary, things that will last for a finite amount of time. Why do you think?
Yeah. In short, if you dedicate yourself to temporary work, you're dedicating yourself to total freedom. Knowing that it's going to be temporary allows you to just make with reckless abandon, and it allows you to be very focused on the here and now. And that is something that I cherish greatly, and in all of my works, regardless of medium, that seems to be a theme or process that repeats itself over and over again.
There's a couple temporary pieces in the lobby. So when you leave, you will see a couple temporary pieces that Michael banged out.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, in the stairs going up on either side. Yeah. Yes, up on the balcony.
Were you in touch with the wider network of urban exploration around the world, and maybe even specifically did you ever see the infiltration scene that came out of Toronto?
So the question was, were Michael and Adriana ever in touch with a wider urban exploration scene at the time of this project? And were you aware of Infiltration magazine from Toronto?
We're gonna get a copy right now.
I wasn't, but I was doing a lot of just kind of immersing myself in this kind of story. And there's a good Canadian movie from the early 2000s where I forget what it's called. Way Downtown.
Yes.
Where they go through, they're living in
the Calgary
cubicles,
Mall.
yeah, and they go into the
bed.
mall.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of the rare movies about living inside a mall. Hey, we have a giveaway.
Yes, take it away. Yeah.
We have 2 giveaways.
They're not us.
Yeah. First, I'm going to show you the giveaway, and then Michael and I are going to ask a couple questions to get it. Okay, ready? I'm holding a key. And the key actually opens a door. An actual door. It was made as a copy. So we have 2 of these. We're going to give them away as gifts. Trivia questions? Okay, go for it.
All right. You'll have to do the hand on this.
First one up with their hand.
How long does the alarm go off at the mall?
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a complicated question. Name the camera that they use. I want 2 words. Yes. Somebody? Pentax. Pentax Optio. Here, this one key for you. And then I would like a movie that they saw when they were watching every single movie at the mall. Hand up. War of the Worlds, incorrect. They had War of the Worlds popcorn, but it wasn't on their list of movies. Yes. Which one?
Underworld.
Underworld is correct. It was on their list.
We've got time for one last question. Yeah, go ahead.
So, two-parter. At the end of the film, do you actually go back to the mall? And the second part, now that it's documented on film, are you worried you're going to get in trouble for it?
Okay, so the first question was, at the end of the film, did you actually go back to the mall? And then
How did I answer this one, Michael? What'd you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes, show of hands. Did we actually go back into the mall? Did we not go back in the mall and we rebuilt it or something? Okay, most of people thought we went back in the mall. Michael, the person that is in this scene that you're talking about, you don't see this person's face. So
But you're wearing the same outfit.
that's all I will say about that.
And then you had a second question, right?
Just to end it, you could ask our new friends who have keys, and they could probably verify this story for you.
Well,
Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote.
Absolutely. Yes, please don't forget to vote.
It's very
QR
important.
code on your way out. If we didn't get the chance to answer any questions you might have, we can keep the conversation going out in the lobby. Please join me in thanking our friends.
Thank you. And we're playing tomorrow. So tomorrow at the Light Box. Tomorrow at the Light Box. Thanks for the And yeah, the people who have the one key